Hi, I'm Kristen. Today I'm going to tell you what I'm up to in this mess. Basically, I'm sorting out my crumbs, so smaller fabric scraps. I've done a video on making a crumb quilt block before where I did sort of low volume with some colorful accents, but what I'm into at the moment is kind of one color crumb quilting, I guess, color coded, whatever you want to call that. So I kind of sort my scraps, my little crumbs, into colors and then make blocks. Now, if you're not sure what a crumb is, lots of people would probably define it as like a 1-inch square, or maybe sometimes a bit bigger, sometimes a little rectangle. But I normally would call it just basically, any funny shaped scraps that you don't have another purpose for, that are kind of small in scale. So if you think of the fabric as the cookie and the scraps as the crumbs that fall off, so like little funny bits like that or like that. So I'm gonna show you, I'll just speed through me sorting through my crumb basket, and you'll see me, maybe if you watch closely enough, set aside a few pieces that got shoved in there initially, but actually for me are too big to be considered a crumb. So for me, like if it's kind of the size of my hand or bigger, then I just fold it up and put it back in that. I color code my fabric as well on my shelves and just put it in there. I know some people would cut that into a specific size or shape and have a use for it, but I like to, if it's what I call a reasonable size, then I kind of keep it for foundation paper piecing or English paper piecing or just anything. Applique, you might, if I was going to like applique a name, this would be big enough, for example, to do one of the letters if I wanted to do the letters all kind of rainbow colors or something like that. But I might potentially, if I was trying to be super neat about it, trim this little bit off and call that a crumb. So for me, that's a kind of a crumb size. However, sometimes when I do these blocks, I do use bigger pieces just because I'm in a mood to use stuff up or something like that. So you can do whatever you want. There's not like a rule. I'm just kind of telling you what I tend to do. So in my whips and UFOs video, so where I was going through unfinished quilt projects and things I'd started that I wanted to continue, one of them was these low volume quilt, we can call them blocks or we can call them sections, that I've been doing over the last, I don't know, months or something. So you can see most of that is smaller bits, but there's like a long strip in there. And I do also have a bin for strips, so I could have put that there instead, but I chose to use it up and put it in here. So those are the bigger sections that I showed you before, but I basically emptied out my low volume bin. Where is it? So I just kind of put the low volume scraps in here, so whites or anything that reads white, and then I shove anything else in this tub and it gets to be overflowing. So I went and color coded it, which but I this is me halfway through the low volume stuff. So what I've done is made some color ones because I've been liking doing one color crumb blocks, not just the low volume stuff. So I've got I really like this orange one, and I'm going to show you, I've got some smaller orange bits as well, which have yet to make it into a bigger section. And I'm going to show you me making some green ones in a minute. But this is kind of the halfway stage. So on my table here, I've got all sorts of little bits that I sewed together last night that need to be pressed and trimmed. And then I'll join bits onto bits, and I've got more bits to add on to it. So this is kind of the mess that happens halfway through. And see, some of these have slightly larger pieces and things. So anyway, that's what I'm up to at the moment. So, but I thought it would be easier to show you with like a solid, well, not a solid color, a deeper color. So I'm going to show you green, to show you the process. And I don't have a set plan for this, so I'm not squaring these off to a certain size at the end, but you could. Many people would, and I might eventually. So once I get enough to do something, whether it's an all low volume quilt or whether it's some sort of rainbow crumb block thing, then I might either join them up to be a certain section size, or I might cut them down to be a certain block size and then put them together. But It's just a fun way to kind of unwind if you're having a week where you don't want to do any really complicated sewing, and you get to clear out some of your scraps and put them into sort of usable bits. And you don't have to make a whole quilt out of them. I have used blocks like this before for zipper pouches, and I'm always telling you, you can put everything in a bag, the panel for a bag, basically, or a cushion. You know, you don't have to go huge with it, but I like to have these projects that I've kind of have on the go, and then I have dreams of having these amazing, massive scrap quilts. So hopefully I'll continue with all these, and you can see what I do with them in the end. But for now, I've got the green crumb block tutorial. So if you've never done crumb quilting before, it's a good place to start. You can, of course, do random colors. Lots of people do that, and lots of people do it really well. But for me, whenever I've tried it, I've never liked the end result. It just looks like a mishmash to me. So I like to color theme mine, and that's the kind of kick I'm on at the moment. So I hope you enjoy it. So I started with my carefully ziplocked bag of green crumbs. I kind of went for any shade of green. It does look a little bit nicer if the shades are closer together. So if you had loads, you could separate this out into lights and darks or something like that. But anyway, I chose to group them all together. And then what I'm doing here is trying to find little, like the smallest pieces to start with, ones that are roughly the same size as each other, and lining them up right sides to right sides with a shared edge. And so I'm just trying to find a few so that I can kind of start to chain piece, which makes it a little bit faster. And they can be any size. And if you do have one that's like a little bit longer, you could line up a few against it. But right now I'm just doing, you can see me here, just doing the teeny tiniest bits of crumbs and lining them up to sew those together. So then I just keep chain piecing, not for kind of any set amount. I'm just kind of doing this until I feel like I have enough small ones, or I feel like what I'm left with is more medium-sized crumbs, or just until I feel like it, basically. And then I just cut the thread, and then I am, as you can see, just dividing the thread in between the two crumbs. And then once I've finished that, what I would do was take them all to my wool pressing mat and press the seams open, and then I will come back and trim them. When I'm trimming them, I'm basically just trying to get a straight edge on at least one side. Sometimes I trim both sides at the same time. Any straight edge, any angle. When you're ready to join them up again, you just find another either crumb, just one, and join it to the section you've already started making, or start joining smaller sections together. I had some little triangles I put together almost into little half square triangles that ended up in the middle of this one. Sometimes that happens, sometimes it doesn't. You can put like colors together or purposely contrast them. But the fact that it's all one color is still going to make it look harmonious, especially from a distance in a big quilt or something like that. And then you just kind of repeat the process over and over again. So basically we press, we trim, and then we add bigger sections to the sections we just finished until you get either finish your crumbs, which is what happened to me, or you get to whatever size you're aiming for if you're looking for a particular block size. The thing is to have fun with it. You're roughly trying to join sections together that are the same size, but you can always trim. So just do your best and just don't stress about it too much. And if you do get to the end and you need to use a strip to kind of finish it off or join things up, then just go ahead and do that. Just because it's called a crumb block doesn't mean you have to stick to the teeny tiny pieces every single time. So this isn't a particularly quick process. I'm not sure how long this took me, maybe an hour, maybe something like that. I had, Netflix on in the background, and I was just having fun doing it without thinking too much. So it's a nice little exercise, and I think I'm much more satisfied to have a block like this to look at than a bucket full of, or a little Ziploc bag full of green crumbs. And I'm looking forward to using it in something in the future. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like scrappy videos like this, then please do subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, leave me a comment, let me know what you thought, and I hope to see you again soon. Thanks for spending time with me.